you doing?
Mr. Mora?
Yeah,
Officer Olson.
yeah, righto. Well, so I'm tending bar down there at Eklund and Swedlin's last Tuesday, and this little guy's drinking, and he says, so where can a guy find some action? I'm going crazy out there at the lake. And I says, what kind of action? And he says, woman action. What do I look like? And I says, well, what do I look like? I don't arrange that kind of thing. And he says, but I'm going crazy out there at the lake. And I says, yeah, but this ain't that kind of place.
Uh-huh.
He says, oh, so I get it. So you think I'm some kind of jerk for asking, only you don't use the word jerk.
I understand.
Then he calls me a jerk, says the last guy thought he's a jerk is dead now.
We're ready to roll. Dive right in. All right, so welcome to episode number 117. We had a little bit of a hiatus there. Apologies on that. Thank you for everybody tuning in here to another Muskies on Tap podcast. I'm one of your 6 hosts tonight, Gus Manti. We got a big crew here. We are currently in the town of Bemidji, northern Minnesota, prior to the PMTT coming up this weekend. This pod will come out just before that. And let's go around the line. I'm going to introduce my brother, Max, tournament partner. How you doing? How you feeling? What are the vibes at?
Vibes are good. Just had a top-notch BBQ downtown Bemidji. Alex, what was that? Fozzies. Yeah, I got a pork deep. What was it? Big fry? The big fry. Monster fry. Mac and cheese pork burrito. Absolutely insane. Yeah, we're sitting here in the land of the Giants. Unfortunately, we've just been able to look at them so far this week and not been able to hold them. But yeah, no, vibes are good. Hoping that changes when, I guess, when we need to. But yeah, no, full crew on here tonight. We got a couple familiar faces and one new one. So I'll let the guys take the mic and introduce themselves. Let's start out with none other than Mr. Clayton Spees. Clayton, how are we doing this evening?
Hey, what up? Doing well. Full belly from some amazing barbecue. I think I had the brisket Philly, which was a bomb. Pretty sure anything on that menu would have been really good. But yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for having me on the pod. And looking forward to the weekend. Vibes are pretty high around here. Who knows what's going to happen? Honestly, like you said, Land of the Giants. Been seeing a few good ones on some fish. Haven't touched them yet, and I hope that saving them all for the weekend is worth it. But yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to another member here for tonight, Alex.
Good evening, gentlemen. It is a pleasure to host you all here in the land of bigger fish, I guess, but
Slightly larger.
yeah, vibes are great over here too. We had a great week of pre-fishing, and we just hope it will continue to carry over into the weekend. Also, just found good pods of fish and just kind of left them alone, and we hope they go.
Who's your tournament partner you got there? A little new face on the pod here this evening.
Oh, absolutely, none other all-star stick, great dude, Mr. Ryan Becker.
Let's go. First time appearance on the Mockcast. Ryan, what's going on?
Not much. Glad to finally be on this. I get to see what all the hype is about. Talking about it all the time, and finally got me on. No, it's been a good week so far. Alex and I seem to be pretty confident going into this one, and we've had some fun fishing, and a couple big fish have hit the boat for us. So yeah, getting ready to rip tomorrow. Getting antsy.
All right, well, yeah, let's talk about a little bit about your guys' pre-fishing. But before we do, we got one more guest to have on tonight. He's actually an up-and-coming rap artist, future music sensation, bait maker, walleye fisherman, Nick Ambrose. Nick, how we doing this evening? And crappie, sorry. Don't want to shortchange you.
My name's Nick. I like the muskie and walleye fish. I cast the bait out and they eat it.
Sometimes.
It's real fun there, eh?
Good shit, buddy. All right, we're going to take it back to Ryan and Alex here. So you guys have been, you could say you've been on them, but you guys have been bopping around before I got up here You guys were sending me some pictures of some big fish. Alex, you popped what, a giant on Sunday. Talk us through that one. Kind of get the people an idea on what's doable up here in the great city of Bemidji.
It's any given day up here. We had an immaculate push that day of very, very ultra shallow water fish. Really inclement weather flared up. We had some big wind kick in, which also seems to be on the forecast for this weekend. And yeah, we had an just amazing topwater action, and the big fish that we got was a 50 plus, and she snaked it, waked it all the way in, kind of gave us it almost felt like she was like tilting her eye and looking at us before committing to the bait right at our feet, and just swallowed the whole thing. Right, it was 1.8 feet of water, and it's just a memory that we'll never forget. It was truly an epic bite, and anything can happen at any given time out here. The fish, they're very transient, so they do like to move around, and if you're in the right spot at the right time, it can be a giant, as they say up here. So
I think your tournament partner stuck a pretty good one earlier this week too, from what it sounds like on Lake X. Not exactly sure where he was, but I got a picture of that one too. So yeah, you guys pocketed two pretty nice ones. I guess this question kind of goes for both your squad and Clayton Nick. So the way the PMTT works, obviously those that have been following along, I think they take the top 50 teams to Iowa championship. So with what it sits right now, we think Nick and Clayton need a fish, and you guys need a fish. I'm kind of curious as to how has that changed your game plan at all on what you guys are looking to do this tournament or anything, or I don't know, is the nerves more or less or the same? I guess just kind of being in that situation.
yeah, I mean, I'd say the nerves. I've got a mix of nerves and excitement. We really want to make the championship because it is Ryan's home water on clear, and we would be really, really confident going into that. But we do have to get it done here, and it has changed our game plan a little bit. We find different areas of different bodies of water up here where the bigger fish tend to hold. A little bit more difficult, and I think off the bat we are going to need to go chase pods of smaller fish and just try to get locked in that way and make the championship. And if we can do that early on, that will boost the vibes even more, and then maybe we go out and try to find one of those bigger girls that we're looking for. So
All right, word. What about you, Clayton? Anything change your guys' game plan?
That's kind of a good question. I mean, I feel like we need another fish. Honestly, if no fish get caught in this tournament, which isn't going to happen, we would sneak in, I believe, at 49th place right now. And granted, there are a bunch of teams that have only fished one tournament. In order to make the championship, if you don't know about it, you need to not only catch a fish in one of the qualifiers, but you also have to fish a second qualifier. And some teams in Eagle River Three Lakes, that was their first tournament of the year, and there were a crap ton of fish caught in that tournament. And a lot of those boats that fished that one and caught fish are now here fishing this one to try and make it to the championship. It was kind of like a deal where, it's either a one and done, or if they catch fish, they're going to move on, and then they're going to try and get into the championship. And they're placing significantly higher than us at the moment. So I feel if we actually want to go to it, we're going to need one more fish. And, feeling good about it. Last time we were here a few years ago, we found a pretty good pot of fish through pre-fishing, and which kind of just progressed into a better and better spot as the weekend went on. We ended up taking a third place, which was phenomenal. So we got some stuff to go back on from that year. Things have changed. The weeds have changed. The water's a different level right now. But we've been able to kind of do some pre-fishing and graphing around, scouting out, and we've found fish. So I feel really good about it.
How has cast changed since you guys were here last? Like, do you feel that it's setting up similar to when you guys took third that year, or is it drastically different?
I mean, my view on it might be slightly skewed. So just to kind of, from our perspective, in an honest form, my electronics have improved quite a bit since then. And what we saw before, we thought, the weeds were halfway decent when everyone's like the weeds are terrible, and we had no prior knowledge to knowing what good weeds used to be. So it seemed like the weeds were fairly good where they were. And going into it this year, now our electronics are better, and I'm seeing things a little bit more clear. It's a little bit harder to tell for sure, but I think we actually, there's a lot less weeds than what there used to be. Also, that seems to be consistent from what I've heard from other people.
I wouldn't say I agree with that. And our electronics are better because I think that was actually the first tournament we fished with mega side imaging, correct?
Yeah, well, that was the first tournament that I had 360. We had just gotten it right before it.
Because I think you just
I
got
think
rid of your 989s or whatever they were.
Yeah, which they're great graphs. We've dialed it in since then.
Yeah,
So
that's
we've cleaned it
kind of
up.
discussion we had earlier today.
One thing with hummingbirds and their 360 with any of hummingbirds is right out of the box, they're not necessarily the best product out there. They take a little bit of fine tuning to dial them in, but once they're dialed in, they can be very dynamic, crystal clear images. And so, yeah, we've kind of dialed it up a little bit better than what it was.
Just kind of trying to narrow down what you're seeing, like with bait and like weed structure or where they possibly could be sitting. I mean, you see a lot more now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I know now too. I think what also helps is knowing what bait is what out there. We'd see pods of stuff and not really sure what it is. And now, over the years of using the electronics, we've been able to kind of figure out what bait is what and what things are important to have on a piece of structure in order to help it hold fish. These fish, apparently, they move around a lot. With what Alex just said, just because they're there now doesn't mean they're going to be there tomorrow. The wind's going to switch direction. A lot of things can change. But based on kind of what we see with the wind the way it's been and the bait where it is, we hope that if they're not there, that we did a lot of driving around and kind of figuring out what is close to it, if the wind does change where these fish might go. And man, I just hope that these fish actually eat because we've seen a bunch of them. We haven't touched any. But
I was gonna say I was actually surprised today with how thick some of the bait was. Like you told me to drive a certain direction, we're looking for things, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I think those are weeds." We get up there, it's just a giant line of bait.
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's bait everywhere. I don't know why these fish would ever eat a bait, honestly. There's so much food for them out there. It's ridiculous.
that is true.
So for these tournaments, Clayton, you've been here. Why would you on the day before, we kind of have all of our opinions on this, just drive around as opposed to not taking a cast on the day before the tournament? Some people who are just getting into tournament fishing might just fish super hard the whole time, like Max and I kind of did. We had a different perspective on this tournament than we have in the past because we didn't know what we're doing here. We haven't been to cast before, but what were you doing, or why would you be doing that? And kind of you guys too, Alex and Ryan, like what was your benefit to that? Even if, because I hear that a lot the day before the tournament, everyone's like, we just drove around, but we just drove around where we weren't going to fish the next day. Like then what does that do?
Yeah. Well, Nick and I have historically been ones to just go to places that we've never fished before and fish to catch fish because we love catching fish. And so we will, if you've seen us before, you'll know that we do like to fish like every day pre-fishing. And up until this trip, that's always been kind of our game plan. Like, let's try and get a bite. And I think this year going into it, after just chatting with you guys and however, being with other teams and, seeing other strategies and stuff. We've already been here. We kind of know what it can do. We know what these fish, maybe are going to do, at least what we think they're going to do. And I'm hoping that if the fact that we didn't put hooks into these fish this time around by pulling out on them, that maybe that'll save more bites for us in the long run. Because I feel like we got super lucky last time by catching fish. I don't know if we can necessarily get that lucky next time with the amount of bites we're going to get. We need every fish we possibly can to stay unpinned and educated as much as possible.
So, kind of same question for Alex and Becker then, because obviously, Alex, this is like your home water, and Becker, you've fished up here a good bit. So, like, are you guys worried at all about getting into the path of fishing memories, or have you guys kind of dialed it in, driving around to like find kind of what's going on like this week?
Yeah, I got up here Friday because Alex had to work this week, so we fished hard Saturday, and then the weather was nasty and stuff for a lot of the tournament waters on Sunday, so we just opted out to go fish a fun lake and just I got out Monday and did some fishing and was able to get a big one and kind of find some similar areas. And the rest of the week, we basically just drove and checked other stuff out because it's new moon week and it seems like the fish are active biting, and it feels like you need to like just make sure they're there more so because they're Minnesota fish. It's all heavy window oriented. And like Alex was saying, they move a ton, but kind of the areas where we found them, they are staying, it seems like. So there's no need for us to go out and cast at them.
Yeah.
No matter what bait it is.
No, that makes sense. I mean, Alex, kind of same question, but also additionally, like, do you enjoy fishing home water events, or is this kind of one of those things like how Gus and I feel a little bit fishing the Eagle River chain, and I know Clayton and Nick feel the same way, where it can kind of be a little weird too, when you know a body of water super, super well.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of added pressure. You're on your home water and you feel like you have to go out there and, perform for the sake of it. But I think in general with the driving around more this week and a little bit less fishing to locate the fish, I think that's definitely a staple of the behavior of Minnesota fish these days. They're definitely more boat shy than a lot of the other areas that I've seen. We've got very clear water. We've had sunny conditions a lot as of recent, including today, definitely for tomorrow. So these fish, they don't want to. They do move around a lot, but this is where I guess an advantage of knowing your home waters and how fish set up to position themselves to eat versus just the spots that they just pull up onto to catch sun and just digest, break spots like that. That's where the advantage comes. We've got some stuff that we know they're set up as more feeder spots, and when we've pulled the baits out throughout the week, they've been biting, and it is window oriented. Moon obviously is a big factor up here in northern Minnesota, in my opinion. But we just wanted to leave them alone because if they're set up in spots and they keep repetitively going back to these spots, eventually the window's going to open for them, and they have been bitey. So we're going to hope that continues, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to pass it over to my tournament partner here and ask him his thoughts on how he's feeling for tomorrow. Yeah, we've had a fun week. I mean, I would say, we came up here. It's hard to like curb expectations when you're coming to this neck of the woods. It's both our first times being in the Bemidji area. Obviously, we've gotten to know Alex pretty well over the last few years, and like everyone who listens to this and has heard him on here knows his track record. I mean, I'm staring at his big fish board of the year right now with a couple double nickels and one just shy. So, I mean, yeah, you're always got those expectations when you come up here. I'd say we've had a lot of fun, but unfortunately, I think we kind of caught the bad end of the weather maybe a little bit. Like after Monday when we got up here, it's been a little bit tough. But yeah, I mean, I think still like it's been cool, and I think Cass has started to show itself to us a little bit more today, and it was fun. I think a little bit. So yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on for tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to have for expectations of this tournament at all going into it. We've heard plenty of Cass Lake from Clayton and Nick, just talking to them about their experience here. We've asked Alex and Ryan about it a little bit here and there, but to be honest, as soon as we set foot on it for about an hour on Tuesday, that's about all we got out of it. We looked at a few of the spots and we didn't know if muskies could even hold there, like, or why. And then it took until we actually saw some fins of muskies to be like, oh, this makes a ton more sense. And obviously our confidence has gone up since the first part of pre-fishing, but we did a little different approach of pre-fishing here. We fished a good bit. We drove around quite a bit to kind of eliminate spots. Once we got on possibly some fish, we drove around to close areas and pretty much confirmed so that we didn't have to fish it through the tournament and be like, okay, this is actually not great. And this is good water to fish, or at least similar, what we wanted to look for. But expectations of, we wanted to fun fish a little bit as we have done a little bit. And it has produced nothing in the bag, but that is okay. I got to see behind Max's bucktail. I After talking with Clayton about going down to Green Bay, it wasn't the biggest fish I've ever seen physically, but it's the biggest fish I've ever seen follow a bait, hard on it, behind Max's bucktail, close to legal size for Minnesota. So that was pretty exciting to see the potential in about the first 10 minutes of fun fishing. Kind of freaked us out a little bit. I went from just like slowly working a bait to like I should probably hold on to the rod a little bit harder. But no, I'm just excited to get out and go fishing. We fished today, but I wouldn't say we fished how we normally would want to fish. And there's, some good friends of ours that we talk to. You go into a tournament, you got a game plan, then you just go fishing, have fun, just fish really hard. No matter how much you get down on yourself, if it's being tough, chances are pretty good it's tough for everybody else as well. So you just grind it out, and these fish will bite. They do have to bite here and there. So got to just have confidence in what you're doing.
I think one thing that really helped me not be in the mindset of I just want to come here and catch fish was the fact that this is different this year where we get to stay, with Alex. He's put us up graciously in his place, and he's also offered to take us out and do a little fun fishing, outside of what would normally be tournament hours, evening into the night. And we've gotten to check out some, lakes that aren't a part of the tournament and do some fun fishing. And, Ryan has jumped in my boat and kind of helped, guide us through these lakes that I've never been on. Basically we were on fish immediately. We got to go out and we'd only fish for a couple hours each evening since we've been here.
That's crazy. Like how quickly, I mean, even on the very low density body of water we went on last night, it was just first spot. Seeing one posted up on it was just like that's like been so much fun this year fishing the trail, getting to like show you guys some northern Wisconsin stuff, and then getting up here and like getting to fish all these different waters. It's like not only have we been able to learn, Cass, we've just added, a handful of other lakes to our, not like we haven't learned them intimately, but like you got to go out, see fish, see spots, like so cool. I mean, to the point where I feel like we could come up to Bemidji, like with us northern Wisconsin guys and go fish some of these lakes and, have some
sure.
potentially relative success. And that's like the cool thing about doing this stuff is like you're just building so much knowledge. Like first time experience is just cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's just been, like I said, it's just been awesome to be able to do that fun fishing. And it's kind of eased like all right, you know what? If we go out and we don't put hooks and fish pre-fishing, it's okay. Like we can just find fish and then, we go and have our fun after hours. And like we said, we didn't actually put any in the bag even with the fun fishing, but the fact that we were out there like trying and we moved fish, we had fish come in hot and he ate. We got to see them, after dark. and have that camaraderie that just really made it, kind of more laid back and to eased it. Honestly, it eased my like drive to actually like just send a hook home into a fish and just hold off and wait until a tournament. And I really hope that that was
I mean,
worth it.
and
But I think it will be.
I'm glad like this is dropping on Friday. I don't think we're giving any away secrets here with like sand fishing in Minnesota, but like that's something that in northern Wisconsin, I mean, it's just you don't really hear about that at all. I mean, you really don't. Like barely exists. And then you come here and you're seeing these, fucking mutants sitting up in 2 feet of water. And it's just like, you wonder, your mind starts to wonder, like, can I bring some of this back home to northern Wisconsin? Like, you start thinking of other lakes of like, there is sand in northern Wisconsin. Like, I wonder if these fish do slide up. We would have no idea because we've never fished it,
Yeah.
like way football field inside edges where you're just like, I would never fish this in northern Wisconsin. And Alex and Ryan did the same thing with you guys. Like they were just quick to shove their boat up there, and it's like, Jesus Christ, they're here. Like this is insane.
Well, for sure. It just gives so much more confidence to kind of try stuff and, just get out there and do it at night. Like, I know it's hard, for Gus and I, full time guides, we run day trips every day. And so our amount of time throughout the meat of summer, July and August, into September, it can be kind of tough to get done with, a full day or a double half day and then go out and grind it out at night. So it probably, it doesn't happen as much as we would like to, but, now like, we talk about it a lot early season and later in the season when the days start getting shorter, and we're going to get some more opportunities to go and try some of this stuff, but I can do it with confidence, because of what we've seen here, and, feel like we can get something.
I completely agree. I mean, just fishing with Alex for 2 nights has gained so much confidence in what we could do and will do and have done night fishing, whether it's with 0 success or some success or whatnot, just some of the tactics, some of it's really not as far as what people think to do during the daytime. Honestly, like these fish hunt for their livelihood and they can hunt extremely well at night. When they want to. Obviously, we found that they kind of still do the Minnesota Shuffle at night too. So, but that's okay.
Yeah, Gus, like you guys obviously do super well in Wisconsin, but your big fish are no different. They're creatures of habit. You guys get major cool downs, and like Max was saying, stuff you guys would never think to fish. Well, if you're on pressured bodies of water, what are your guys' big fish doing? They're probably pushing up to stuff.
They
like
usually,
that.
I always say this, I'm like the biggest fish in each and every lake that's maybe not fully clear Cisco based is probably in the slop.
Yep.
As we found. I mean, some of the larger fish that I've lost with Max in the boat has been ripping rubber in stupid shallow water or almost against docks on what was kind of maybe the inside edge, but maybe not, because the inside edge in Wisconsin isn't always just bare sand. It's, a little different on some lakes, but
Right. And I think the big fish, that helps them escape pressure a lot too.
yeah.
Like we went out the first night of fun fishing and got on this spot, and I'm like, we just need to bomb this spot, Clayton, right over the top of it. And he's like, there's no rocks or anything to hit, or like they're gonna be up here. I'm like, oh yeah, like just stuff you.
Oh,
wouldn't-
yeah.
I'm like, you're not gonna hit anything up here. This is where all the fish are, up about as shallow as you can get. Where Alex got a big one on Sunday, and it's just, that's where they also escape to get away from pressure as well, off the brakes and out of the open water these days.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's always big fish we hear about in our area that when we hear, potentially of where it was caught, is like, that makes sense. That is so far out in just the boonies of that lake or something like that. Every once in a while, there's a giant that rolls up on so-and-so point right off the middle of the lake to the deepest water, classic or whatever, but that's not always the case. And now we're all sitting here wanting to go to sleep and go get up and go to cast, where maybe there's a big one there and maybe there's a big one in who knows where, we don't know yet. Most of our stuff we're going on maybe isn't back in the backwaters of they could pull up anywhere. It's, because we've asked questions and about this place, and there's fish everywhere, but it just depends on what you wanna fish out here.
Yep, I would agree with that. I mean, and I'm on the same page as all you guys. I would say, outside of the general, fun bullshitting and camaraderie, my favorite part of this trail is learning from all the different bodies of water. Um, I I personally hope that the trail does also, in the future maybe expand to even more bodies of water that we can go learn. I one of my favorite parts about when you guys come here and everyone, we've got all these different boats parked outside, and I just like peering into the boats and looking at all the different bait choices that everyone's going with. And it's just so funny how everyone differs with everything, and you know all the different varying tactics that we can employ. And like just like about the middle of last year, I downsized like half of my musky bait collection. And since I've been to Cave and since I've been to Eagle River and seeing all the different ways that the different fish behavior in different locations, I'm starting to rebuild that again massively. So that's one of my favorite parts, outside of the camaraderie, is just learning all the differences that we employ.
It is funny, like especially for you guys, all at this table who fish a lot more than I do, like how often you guys are on the water. I think the fun thing about musky fishing is how many different ways you can do it. And it's like the best way to do it is, yeah, like you said, just peer in different people's boats. And you guys are looking at Gus's stuff like, oh, this color pattern's sick, or like, what the hell is this little bait and all stuff. And we were doing that too, in your boat. And like, yeah, you mentioned the small bait stuff. Like when we got on, the big fish water the other night, and you're like, just throw a fast, super small moving bucktail. And I'm like, fuck, I'm back in Eagle River. Let's go. I can do that, and we always think coming over here. Like I remember when Gus and I went to Vermilion the first time. It was the first time really fishing true big fish waters a couple years ago. And like all we did was just throw giant blades. And I know it works out there, but like in our head, we're like, they're not biting a 7/8 or a double eights. Like they're just not. We need double 12s, we need double 10s at minimum, and that's all we threw. And like, luckily it paid out for one bite. But like, you look back and you're like, oh my God, like could we have caught more fish? And then, we heard, that after at the reward ceremony in Vermilion, I think the team that won caught theirs on single eights. And we were like, in our head, we're like, I didn't even think about throwing a single eight bucktail. And we'd be back home in Eagle River and like, yeah, right. Yeah. So it's just, it's so cool, like seeing all the different variety of like how people do this stuff. And that's what I think, like, fishing these tournaments, your learning curve exponentially just grows so quickly. Even no matter how much you think you're just like, oh my God, there's 3 different ways I could do, this simple thing. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it changes year to year too. Things definitely change year to year. Patterns, what they're going on, bait sizes, and it's all part of the pre-fishing work that you got to put in to figure out what's going on. And when you're on the road to these different areas, because we are on definitely some strange bites this year that we were not on last year at this same time. And so, yeah, that's all part of the fun.
We'll get back to musky fishing in a sec, but I got to ask Nick across the table here. Obviously, we got some good videos of you rapping today on the boat. I would like to ask you, is there the Muskies in the Bag song, is that coming out as a single anytime soon? Do you have a rapper name now? Or what's the status on all that?
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
This is need to know information.
It's like a passion project, like
All I'm gonna say is it's gonna drop soon.
soon.
Might take a couple months.
Okay.
Some ideas brewing in this brain of mine.
Okay, so you mentioned there's
You
like
might have my name right there.
there's
I think I might be
MC Hammerjerk.
And I'm fresh.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I even think there's some rumors of a music video potentially coming on the This'll Do Outdoors YouTube channel in the near future. Plead the fifth, or is that true?
If Ryan will be with me, we'll do this. I can't rap either. But here we are.
Yeah, I could definitely see Becker up there with you.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I got some ideas brewing. Just gotta go with the flow, bro.
Gotta go with the flow.
You gotta take it low and slow.
Will you be rapping to Clayton if you guys have a slow bite tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, what do you mean? That's just gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I just snap it on, and there we go.
Be trolling.
I'm rapping. They hating. You see me? I gotta stop. I don't want to give you guys too much of a preview.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so we're talking about obviously you guys needing some fish, championship. Becker, I don't want you to, blow up your spot, but if people do make the championship, kind of what can they expect heading down to Clear Lake? You were nice enough to take me out for an afternoon. We had some fun. We've been able to hop in the boat a couple times this year, and you played guide very nicely for me.
Yeah, I think, what do we have, one or two? The Tonka outing, I guess I don't even know if I count that. That was just tough. But
Nah, we scrapped that one.
yeah, it's been good when we've gotten in the boat together. Obviously you came down and jumped in with me on Clear, and we caught a few fish and had a good time. And you got a little preview of the potential and what could happen. And I think it's going to be really good. I mean, a lot could change by then, but late September historically is, like anywhere, a really good bite. And we got the numbers that can put out a show, and I guess we'll see what happens. A lot of good sticks coming, including you two. And I saw some sneaky baits that you guys have that's tonight that could play a factor that nobody else probably has. But hey, no, it'll be fun.
No, yeah, it's a cool area. I was like, I was kind of fired up getting down there and just seeing the town, the lake. I'm like, all right, I could spend a few days here. I mean, I didn't realize it's like, it's kind of like is it like a vacation town, but also like a full-time population deal, would you say?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that live there, but a ton of people that vacation. Some of the houses you saw on the lake are crazy. It's not really like a West Okoboji in Northwest Iowa, but it can be busy. Yeah, we have Thursdays on Main. There's always stuff going on during the summer, and Main Street gets pretty busy, as you saw. We'll have to go out to Tapped and Sevens and Rookies and
Yeah.
have a couple good nights and some good food, but it definitely slows down that time of year. Everybody's football and school and all that, but we'll still have some fun.
I was shocked at I mean, obviously it was humming pretty good when we were out there on a Saturday afternoon, but they've done such a good job from what you're telling me with like the stocking and like the just kind of like the musky vibe around the lake. And yet, kind of like what you're saying, there's like a lot of people out there that just have no clue there's muskies out there. And like when you're like, dude, if you catch one tonight and there's a boat near you, they will stop and start getting on you. And it's so funny. Like it literally happened to a T. We put one in the net, and I think, well, we have a pontoon pull up. We had a guy come out from his
People on
campfire
the
to
docks and
start taking pictures.
can you send me those photos? Yeah, I guess, but we're in a bite window, so you better be quick.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, the pontoon, you had the cheering squad. I can't tell you how many times I've been out there but the fish don't mind, obviously, as you knew or saw that it can be busy and they don't care.
No, they really don't. They're
They're just used to it. They live in it.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely kind of reminded me of the Eagle River chain in that regard, where it's like I mean, I think one of the fish we even caught was like there was a pontoon that had just came
Plowed
through.
right through.
Plowed
Yeah,
right
for
through.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that when Gus and I were fun fishing on our Bender weekend, which we didn't talk about, but Brian can't make it tonight. Obviously, he was the star of our Bender weekend last weekend. So we'll recap that up and talk to you guys about that. It was a blast. But yeah, so one thing I noticed when we were actually launching our boat, taking out of our boat on one of the landings, I had revved the motor on the landing. There's a bunch of bluegills that were sitting there, and they're all like very docile. And I revved the motor. I was looking back. It was clear water, and all the stuff that I had kicked up, the bluegills just went into a feeding frenzy. And I'm like, oh, dang. So that might be what happens in prop wash. Like schools of bluegills that you run over just all of a sudden start. I mean, like the way they were eating this stuff, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Give it. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all just kind of sitting here just like with our own experiences of stuff like that. And, I immediately think of pontoon boats, up north, just kind of driving in between us and shore because they're deathly afraid of going out into the open water, like deep water. Oh my
There's-
gosh.
you don't
Like,
know.
holy smokes. Or
Yeah.
on it, or this is a thing too. Maybe I'm pretty sure they are very curious as to what's going on inside of everybody's houses. So they got to
Oh,
get so close that they
yeah.
can see inside. Yeah, they just can't see the place from afar. They
Yeah,
need to look in the windows.
It's one or two people. It's either the person with complete tunnel vision driving and they don't even know you exist, or it's somebody who is so aloof. They're like, "Hey, how's it going?
Oh, for
What
sure.
you guys fishing for?"
Man, I
You
used to
know?
get so mad at people.
There's probably a third person, I know, but we don't want to mention those people.
I used to get so mad at these guys, and then the day that it ended where I was like, I just don't even bother and I'm just going to catch a fish in their prop wash because, like you said, a boat going through that motor, turning up the bottom, brings in the bait fish, brings in the muskies, and it works. But before that, I used to really freak out when people would drive in between me and the shore. And
I mean,
one time I took a cast with a substantial sized rubber bait right at a person that was driving in front of me. And I stopped it right in front of their face, and the entire boat started clapping and cheering, saying that I had a really good cast, and they were impressed. And I was like,
you could have
they
hurt.
truly have no idea.
Yeah, they have no idea.
And yeah, you just got to do your thing. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want, I kind of have a question for everybody here. And I know my answer, but I'm just going to let's go around the table a little bit if you don't mind. So we're all sitting here, and I know that Ryan and Alex had, some more luck before we got here, and they haven't fished super hard since, to try and catch these fish. But there's still a lot of teams out there that we're pounding fish this week pretty good. I've heard that, Cass was on fire and, people are all over fish on Bemidji and this and that. And you go to the meeting tonight and, there's all these stories of giant fish here and, people catching fish there, and you're getting texts, and people, love to brag. When people are on fish, they love bragging. And if you, like myself, didn't actually put one in the bag pre-fishing, but we're feeling good about it. And you think about all those guys that are out there just stinging the crap out of fish and catching them, and you hear all these stories. I'm curious as to what that does for your mental aspect. Does it fire you up? Does it get you more motivated? Does it oh shoot, are the fish getting burned? How do you feel about that? Really curious.
I honestly, this kind of goes back to probably 2023, the first year Max and I did the full trail. So 2022 was Max and I's first year doing it. We, pre-fished the weekend before because Max and I both at the time were weekend warriors. Fished Eagle River, did well. Kind of knew you guys, not a bunch. And then we went to 2023, went down to Cave Run, and I was solo there. That's when I got a nice full week with old Jeremy Barber. And he's been on the podcast here. He's actually just recently on the Muskie Road Rules with Greg Thomas with his son Trevor. He kind of stuck in my mind that every person that he's ever been a part of in a tournament setting ever, pre-fishing at the rules meeting, somebody who is absolutely wailing on them, he never hears their name again, usually, like almost 9 out of 10 times or more, that they don't hear that name show up in the top 10 by the end of day 1 or day 2, for that matter. And that's kind of stuck with me on not being as worried about not catching fish pre-fishing, or honestly in years past not seeing that much pre-fishing. As long as you get confidence in the spot, I mean, a muskie is a muskie is a muskie. It's going to eat typically the same baits. It's going to try to hold to bait. You probably hear everybody ever just talk about bait. I mean, that's extremely important. Not lures, like bait in the lake of what you're looking for. So I still have great confidence in kind of what all of our game plans are for this tournament. I think we all approached it semi-similarly, without stinging too many fish for the most part in the last few days, stinging no fish. And I think we're just going to go in with confidence of just fishing hard and going after the fish that we know are there or think should be there, one or the other, whether we think they should be on that spot because it's a good spot or they're there because, we saw them the day before or something like that. So I have good confidence. That doesn't rattle me if it really ever did. Maybe a little bit. It for sure rattled me a little bit if you hear somebody. I mean, it's just kind of in the nature. Somebody else is on fish and you're not. You're definitely going to get a little bit, angry at mostly yourself. And it's like, why are we on them? So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. So whoever wants to go next.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I don't know how my partner Ryan here feels. He's really keeping me confident as the hours pass here into the tournament here in less than what are we 12 hours now or something like that. We did have successful pre-fishing. We got on pods of fish. We do feel really good about it. But like you said, like that there's a deep gut pain that's like, well, does that mean that everything's going to change tomorrow and we're going to have to bite the fun that we had all week, or will things continue? I mean, traditionally, from my standpoint, the most successful tournaments that I've fished in, I just have gone in totally blind. Just learn things that the day of and try to break things down fast. But this is, I mean, from where we sit, we feel really good, and I'm just trying not to think about it too much and just go out there and have fun. I mean, we do feel the added pressure of the home water plus the fact we do have to get on the board to make the championship. But at the same time, it's been a really fun year getting together with all you guys. Everyone in this room's a great angler, and when you have it's just not just a skill set, but the ability to really learn and adapt. It's anyone's game on any given day. So I don't think it really matters. To the guys out there who are feeling like, oh, well, we have nothing going, just keep at it, and you never know. Honestly, these fish do move around a lot, and you might stumble upon the megapod and just have a day. So
I think it's an awesome question because I think early on fishing tournaments with Gus, like it was definitely a thing, where we always kind of felt like we would need this like rock star game plan kind of going in to like do well. And I think now like fishing, a couple years worth of tournaments, the thing I just like have always held my hat on is no matter how tough the bite has been, it feels like there's always this like kind of small like come to Jesus moment when you're out there where like things kind of click, even if it's just a little something. Like I even think back to like Madison last year where we literally beat our heads against the wall. We got the one lucky bite on Saturday that I fucked up the net jab on. That was not a patternable thing. But then literally like with an hour left in the tournament, we scrapped everything and we go out to open water and realize these fish are just out in the abyss in the wind. And it was like even that felt so impossible. It's like it kind of clicked even with an hour left. And there's always a chance like you can win a tournament in an hour stretch. And I think of like Cave this year, honestly, where we were there for 5 days and it literally didn't click until the last 3 hours of the tournament where and so like even going into this tournament, like, do I feel great about it? No, not really. But like, I'm just holding out hope that like at some point in time, either tomorrow or Saturday, like things will just kind of click a little bit. Like even just to the point where you're like, okay, we can get one bite. Because at the end of the day, like we had, can't remember who we had on our podcast a while ago, but they're like, if you just catch 3 fish every tournament, you're gonna win a lot of tournaments. And it's like, man, 3 bites, 15 hours goes by quick, but that's a lot of hours on the water. And as everyone here knows, that's musky fish. Like you can have a hot 30-minute stretch where that's all it takes is you get 2-3 bites in 30 minutes. The next thing you know, you're cashing a check. And so I think if you can like mentally stay in it for that 15 hours, like something will give, and even if we go through the first 4 hours tomorrow and like don't move a thing and it feels dead, you just kind of keep that like self-talk of like something will happen. So just you gotta like stay with it, you don't, it's not even have to like keep this cheery, positive attitude the whole time. You just like mentally be like, okay, something will happen. Like let's, just stick with it. And I feel like that moment will kind of come. So that's a great question though, honestly.
Yeah, to wrap up Clayton's question, like you were just talking about, Max, it's the biggest thing is keeping that positivity. Like we did good pre-fishing and we're super confident and positive, but positivity breeds success. And if you stay positive the whole time, I mean, Alex and I have done this 20 plus years. We understand that those fish could be absolutely gone and we could blank this weekend and miss the championship. But
It ebbs and flows throughout even just a day of tournament fishing, though. I mean, you can go from feeling terrible to all of a sudden feeling like you solved everything.
Mhm.
It feels like in an hour stretch,
yeah, just it can happen so quick. And we're on fish and we just got to pray that they stay and are willing to bite. And the biggest thing we can control is fishing hard and fishing smart and positive. I think Cave was tough, at the high water. We went down and had a great time. Fishing was super tough. And then I think we went into Eagle River and I spent the whole week there. And I think I overthought so much that I wasn't making smart decisions. And, like we fun fished. Where were the fish? Open water. Alex and I take off day one, monster porpoises, open water. And we just didn't necessarily make the right decision. And, just going into this, it feels different. And, like Clayton was saying, there's guys talking, catching fish. The bite's been good, but it can change very quickly. So
It's true. What do you got, Nick?
So my insight on all this is I always try staying positive towards any tournament. It doesn't matter if I were moving fish or not moving fish. Like you guys have just iterated, one cast can bring luck and bring a fish. I mean, how many times I've had it multiple times where back to back casts I've caught fish. You don't know what's going to happen, so you always got to keep casting. And I know there's been a few tournaments where I didn't have the confidence, maybe, but you just never know what's going to happen. Like last year in Minnesota for me and Clayton, we had everything go wrong. You could almost think of going wrong. We stayed out there, stayed with somewhat of a positive attitude, and randomly things fell into place. It's
Randomly
the best
won
way to put
first.
Well,
Yeah.
there was a point where you're like, "Oh, it's starting to rain." I'm like, "Well, you want my rain gear?" No, let's just go back. I'll give you my raincoat. But I mean,
That's
it's
some brotherly love right there.
you got to stay out there because you never know what's going to happen. I've had times where I've been out fishing and I decided, oh, they're not biting. I get off the lake and I hear from someone else. We just hammered them then.
Yeah. That is tough to hear. And yeah, you guys that's pretty cool what you guys did of course last year. Not quitting one bit at all. Just going with what you had and winning with what you had.
Well, yeah, I mean, you always got to stay positive. I'm not saying you can't complain about everything because that does help a little bit, but you always got to stay positive, and that's why my license plate says next cast because you never know what's going to happen.
That's good. I like that. Now, Clayton, we'll bring it full circle back to you on your question. What is your answer to this?
Yeah, so those are all the answers that I was hoping to get. And, for people that are thinking about doing tournaments or, are out there and have heard, all the chatter outside and, there's always fish getting caught. No matter what, no matter how tough the conditions, there's always going to be fish caught. And can you stay mentally in the game? Can you stay positive enough? Can you stay focused enough to be ready when that bite does happen? Because more times than not, pretty much everybody is going to get a chance at something at some point in the weekend. Most anglers,
Whether they
do.
know it or not.
Whether they know it or not. And whether you've had a great pre-fish or whether you've had a horrible pre-fish, there's a lot of fish out there, and they bite at different times. Sometimes the windows are mega, and most of the fish are caught in short amount of times. But the key is definitely to just stay focused on what you do, know what you know as far as your game plan, what you're comfortable with. Stay comfortable, stay positive, stay focused, and don't worry about what other people are doing, and don't get mad when people catch fish. One big thing too that I've learned in the last couple of years. A lot of it's from like the Green Bay boys have taught me, like, you know, when a bag goes in the water and a fish gets caught, even if it's right in front of you, you know, number one, hang on, because there's a window that's opened. So the bite has started. So be ready. And, you know, don't think that just because somebody else caught one, well, that was the only chance you're going to get, you know, it's game on. So it was just kind of like a little, you know, a little thing for people out there, you know, just don't worry about other people catching fish.
Yeah. Yeah. Becker just
Definitely.
said you gotta, that's when you focus up. Nick, what do you got? And I'm going to bring us home after.
All right. I will say, like, Clayton's like telling the truth right there. I've seen the evolution, like, I know you've seen people catch fish before, and you're like, dang it, they caught one. Like, why aren't we catching one? But I've seen in the past couple of years, you're like, they caught one. Let's fish harder, Nick. Let's go.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that literally happened to us last weekend. Gus had a spot in mind that he wanted to go to. And as we came around the corner, we literally watched an older gentleman pull about a mid-40s out of the bag, who launched 9 minutes prior to him fishing that spot. And Gus was like, oh, shit. And literally, I remember I turned to you and I'm like, hey, this is good. They're eating now, because we had nothing going up until then. And that's literally where Gus might have had hooked up with his
Casting PB, but
Yeah.
we'll get more into that.
Yeah, that next week.
Yep, we got
So
lots of
we, you know, he would have never even, you know. So you look at
Yeah.
that, you could be pissed about the situation that this guy just caught a really nice fish off the spot we were about to go fish, or you look at it as like he pushed us to a different spot we've never fished. We might not have even ever contacted that fish. You know, granted it didn't end up in the net, huge bummer, but like that opportunity might have never presented itself had that guy just not even launched his boat that day.
Yeah, I always think about that for bite when, you know, certain days or good nights. It's like, how did we come to this conclusion of catching this fish? Or some days where you catch a few fish and lose a fish, you know, when you lose it kind of matters. There's some nights where you lose a fish first and then you start to catch fish. You can't be so mad about that fish loss because it got you to the situation you're in. If you lose a fish on like one of your last casts, that just sucks.
Yeah,
that just straight up sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do there.
Yeah, really nothing you could ice there. Yeah.
So following with that, just to add in, I was fishing with my buddy Louis Drager one time. I was subbing for Tuesday night way back in the day.
Shout out.
Shoot out. And I don't know, I was pretty green kind of fishing with him, and I was kind of nervous because he was a guide, and I kind of just moved up to the area. I completely snagged a dock. I overcasted and snagged the stock, and we had to go in. And the whole time, I'm just like, I'm sorry, Louis. I snagged the dock. I'm sorry we have to go in. I'm apologizing like 24/7. He's like, dude, it's okay. Things happen for a reason. 10 minutes later, I caught a fish. And he goes, you never would have caught this fish, probably, if you didn't snag the stock. It's timing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Brian, don't listen to this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say no worries there, no worries there. But speaking of the devil, a game that he likes to play before our PMTT events is what are the odds? So we're gonna bring it home here. We're gonna pass it around the room. Whoever gets it closest, both categories wins a prize. Not sure what that door prize is here. We're gonna go around. What is the over under on biggest fish caught?
Or like a closest
Closest
maybe.
to biggest fish caught out of the six of us. We'll take a guess. Biggest fish caught this weekend in the tournament, and how many fish will it take to win the event? Gus, you're up first.
All right, 3 fish are gonna win it. It seems to be kind of a consistent number answer kind of thing. I'm just gonna go with it. Go with the gut. For big fish,
Big fish.
it's gonna be 50 and a half. It's big fish.
Okay. I am going to say 4 fish will win it, and big fish, I think, will come on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Come on Saturday morning. A big, I will say 52 and a quarter.
Okay. Well, my first question is, how big of a fish are you guys going to catch? So I can get this one. I'm going to say probably big fish. You're looking at probably about, I'm going to say 50-inch class range.
Give us a number. Just say a number.
50 to 51. That's 2 numbers.
No, that's 2 numbers.
50 and a half.
Okay. He's
And
with
then I'm going to say most fish. I'm going to go with 4.
4. All right. Should we be writing these down? We'll listen to it back. Listeners, text us what we come up with.
All right. I'm going bold on this one. I'm going 5, and I'm pretty positive the big fish is going to be caught tomorrow. 53 3/4 on Bemidji.
Oh, that's right. There's Bemidji in this. So I totally forgot about that. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll stick with 15 and a half, I guess. Nobody will catch on Bemidji.
I'm gonna say I'm
they'll
gonna
catch on
change it
Bemidji.
up. I'm gonna say 4. And with the inclement weather that we have, I think
50.
somebody on Bemidji will get a good one too. I'm gonna say, oh, what are we? Let me try to think these. Yeah, I'm gonna say 53 and a half on Bemidji.
Yeah.
Somebody will stumble upon one of those, I think.
We did not. It's tournament results.
So last time we were here, I believe there was like a 53 or so caught.
Oh,
I
boy.
think,
On Bemidji.
on Bemidji.
Boo.
I think that fish got a little bigger. I don't know if I really believe myself or not, but I think we're gonna get into that legal size. What is it? What's legal?
54.
54. I'm gonna go, yeah, 54 bust. Yeah. I think big of fish is gonna be a 54 and a half, and I think it's gonna take 3 good ones. I do feel like there could be 4 fish caught by a team. I think 3 is gonna win it.
I like it. Might have lowballed the big fish, but I'm going to stick with my guns and just hope that it just doesn't happen. Or the big fish on
Praying on others' downfalls. Love to see.
praying on. Yeah, I take that back. But I'm still sticking with the 50 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, that's
So.
a giant.
Still a big, giant fish.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, as these PMTT previews go, I think this is probably the most in detail we've ever gotten on anyone
Yeah.
before. So, yeah, good
We have a
stuff.
big crew and had a lot of fun here. And I think we can put a bow on this. And, again, to restate, we will talk about Bender Weekend and kind of give a update on the Northwoods and everything like that. I know we skipped a week and we're maybe 12 hours late on this pod, but that's all right. We're going to be right back with weekly updates and new guests here and there. And
Hopefully,
more on
we'll
the
have one of these
lines.
guys on next week to talk about a tournament win.
That's what we're hoping for. We hope that we get some wins in the room or some nice big fish caught so we can have some more beers flowing. For good or bad.
Nick, you want to send us off?
These are still going to be flowing.
I kind of do because we kind of forgot something. You guys are called Muskies on Tap, right?
Uh-huh.
Normally you go over what we're drinking, correct?
Ish. We've been lax days.
Yeah, so we're
trying
gonna
on
correct
Tuesday
that
nights.
right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I got a Liney's Juicy Peach. Gus is obsessed with these. Wouldn't be my first drink of choice, but go down easy to calm the nerves before a night of a tournament.
I've got a vanilla Coke with Kessler. It's smooth as silk. That's what I'm talking about.
Ooh, a little vitamin K, huh?
That's
yeah.
yeah.
I stumbled upon a little juicy peach myself from Lining Kugels. Not a bad after dinner beer. So I'd probably have another one of these if somebody made me drink one. It's not bad. But
And yeah, me and my tournament partner Ryan, we are enjoying some Liney's Summer Shandy to wind down on the summer showdown. So keeping the vibes good, and I hope we are all in the same state of mind with the vibes tomorrow night.
That would be great. And still probably drinking all the same. But I got myself another Liney's. We kind of brought up a whole barrage of Leinenkugels. I got the Liney Lodge Lime, kind of Leinenkugel's version of what I think Bud Light Lime used to be. It's actually quite good. It goes down pretty smooth. It's a great summer drink. As Max goes, when he first took a sip, he's like, it's all right, but it'd be pretty easy to take down about 7 or 8 of these. on the pontoon, but and I would have to agree. These are delectable. So with that being said, unless anybody has any other closing thoughts, we do not have our gracious, most ever loved math guy, merch god,
He's
big
he's
fish
dearly
guy,
missed.
bait changer, glide bait aficionado, Brian Eckel. Unfortunately, is not here to do the outro, but that is all right. This is a wrap on the Muskies on Tap podcast. Be sure to tune in every week. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And also, I had nothing to add there. Peace out. See you on the next one.
All right, peace.